Hey there, day 2 of my writing in 7 days, writing 2 books in 7 days. And so today's musings are, writing the story while the story is happening. The interesting thing about writing is that it forces you, if you're writing your own story, it forces you to go back and look at your life and look at the relationships as you're retelling the story. And there's something about me that it has to remain in alignment with my integrity of what happened and my perspective, while also honoring the relationships in those different stories. And so it's really putting me this sieve of experience, and I'm reliving all of it as I articulate for you guys the experience of panic attacks, and how panic attacks for Tasha were catalyzed by people leaving me and feeling unsafe in my body. I get to relive those things and relive them in the now moment, where I have every tool to self-soothe. And so that brings me to yesterday, day 1 of the actual writing and pouring myself through it. And hindsight's always 20/20, so I can't say that this was what happened, but I was really pleased with the amount of progress I was making yesterday. And, I carved in chunks for stretching and walking and breathing and eating and drinking, and rotating out drinks and hot drinks and cold drinks, and just doing the thing to take care of my beautiful body as I just allow it all to come out of me. So first of all, made great progress. And then I was sitting down, and I don't know the time, let's just maybe say 5:30 or something. And I was like, okay, yeah, I need to kind of tap the brakes. And no, I'm sorry, it was probably closer to 5. Yeah, I need to go ahead and tap the brakes so I can eat some dinner, because I stick also to a fasting routine as far as intermittent fasting goes. And so I don't necessarily eat by the clock, I just do have an end time. So I was like, yeah, I should probably go figure out what I'm going to eat for dinner. And then I kept writing. And one of my most recent blocks has been some of my subconscious habits in my daily life. And that's interesting, as I am now learning to be on my own schedule, especially in deeply in creative mode. Anyway, all that to say, I ignored the prompting to go eat. And I was in a particularly poignant part of my story, but I was not conscious to it, but I was living it in the moment, giving the in moment perspective while knowing the end, how it all ends. And I felt good. I felt at ease. I felt open. And out of nowhere, when I say the center of my chest, like right dead center, pulsed in a way that threw me back. And I don't have words. Do you hear this stutter? I had a lightning strike in my chest. And I know that we are in the throes of extremely intense ascension energies. And as a leader of what we're calling, or what has been known now as the New Earth leader, the New Earth being energetic leaders, energy is simply everything. So when you understand energy, thank you, Nikola Tesla, emotion is simply energy in motion. So when we know our embodied emotional intelligence, we know God, we know ourselves, we know ascension, and we know truth. And so we are in extremely accelerated ascension times, and many people, many things are happening to signify these changes. Earthquake yesterday in the middle of it, off of Australia, but far away. I don't know the details, but I would love to know the timing, because I could have felt that shock in my heart. Anyway, the way my body responds to big heart movements like that is to assume something's wrong. And so last night it threw me into this. I had that feeling, and then I stood up and I said, go eat, go drink something. So I automatically activated into my self-soothing patterns. And so I grabbed my water that's electrolyte infused, just to keep just magnesium and whatnot. So just those types of things in my functional water. So I was chugging it, and I realized I hadn't drank very much water yesterday. I did have a lot of hot tea and whatnot, but as far as the water, the fact that I still had that, I'm rambling. Let me just go. Grab the water, And then I went and got my ice packs, because I know when my body gets an adrenaline surge, ice packs, if I put them on my collarbone area, it helps me get me back into my body and take those deep breaths. And then I kind of sometimes will get it on my cheek or my jaw, just to kind of bring me back into my body, get out of my mind. So then I immediately started running a bath, and I put lavender Epsom salt. And then I took a couple of, listen y'all, I have a whole tool belt. I took a couple of drops of Bach flower remedies, just kind of peace of mind and stop the anxiety, and all natural things. I did grab some CBD because that's calming, so I took some CBD and GABA. Listen y'all, I was in it to win it, for real, for real. I have been in the throes of panic attacks too, where I feel so trapped in my mind, I'm just willing it to break. So anyway, I know how to handle, and then my body starts tremoring, absolutely tremoring, and I'm like, what is it? And so moments of touchdown began to happen, and I had started having visions of during those times of anxiety. I feel the emotion running right now, but during those times of anxiety, it's almost like the neuropathways. If you think of them, and this is a vision, so it's more energetic than actual literal. But if you're able to imagine a cord of 3 infinitely inside each strand, that is how our neural pathways are. And so sometimes when we're going through ascension, those pathways get fried. It's a short circuit, and our bodies respond. And the more we can just allow the body to do what it does, it's much like what happens during seizures. You just let the person do what they do until they're done. And so you get to do that to yourself. It's the ultimate self-healing, self-soothing. Anyway, the vision of all of those cords being fried and all of that severed, it's scary. And it's basically rewiring everything, because death does not exist. Not in the way you think. And so for me to have the message of love and life and awareness and freedom, I have an intimate relationship with the sensation of death and darkness. And I'm so blessed by it, because the contrast is how I get to see the purity of the light. So I get in the bathtub and I start again touching ground. And it took me back to another panic attack I had written about a long time ago. But my higher self or God or love or whoever, I was like, what was that about? What the fuck was that about? And I found myself in the bathtub at that time too, and I was told to teach them to self-soothe. And that's what I had to do. And so as I was sitting in the bathtub, I was like, well, what was I writing about? What was I doing? And what could have potentially been a part of that? And it was understanding that that moment of my life is closed and the door shut. And when I shut that door, it really propelled me upwards. And the message of true love, the message of divine union, is absolutely only the message of inner union, of enlightenment, of God alive in you, of the Christed consciousness, understanding your internal masculine and feminine energetic balance and dynamic. When you get to that space, you magnetize your in-person counterpart. That's where we are, ladies and gentlemen, in the time of ascension. That's where we are. We are now magnetizing all good things to ourselves. But everything is simply a decision and a choice. And that's a teaser. All of that is woven in these books. I'm writing 2 books, by the way. So anyway, where I get to is that the story continues. It's continually happening. Last night, my heart is very, very protected in my love life. So many people are curious. And love showed up in the most... My throat's burning right now. Love showed up in the most amazing way for me. And it's hidden. So hidden. And that's the way divine love is. It does not make any logical sense whatsoever. But sometimes you just have to experience to be able to tell the story later on. So here I am, day 2, in full surrender. And it is my fervent intention and passion that these books be shockwaves through humanity, as I'm able to, in written and typed out form, communicate the message that I can only feel in my heart, that is to be expressed from every stage. Thank God. Thank God. The the microphones are magnetized like a megaphone. How about that? To my mouth, and the message just flows. So I have a few ideas in mind as far as which stages are worthy of the message. But until then, and until that moment is right now, I continue on with the writing of my books. So this is to you, humanity. Day 2. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.